She-Hulk is an amazing show. It's funny, smart, compelling, and it has the best CGI I've seen in a while. Okay, seriously though, I think at this point everyone knows it's a pile of trash with shitty, non-existent story, horrible visual effects and boring characters. I'm not saying that the opinion of majority necessarily means anything, but sometimes when everyone calls you a dickhead, there's a possibility that they might be right.
Thor, he's back. That kid on the TV just called me a dickhead again.
The creators behind this abomination call it a legal comedy, but it's about as legal as the cocaine in China and as funny as a testicular cancer. These people don't have any clue about law and legal process, and they clearly don't know how to be funny. I know that in their tiny, narcissistic, self-righteous minds they think this shit is unique and creative, but unfortunately thinking isn't their strength either. It's actually painful to see Marvel turn into a parody of itself. After all these years, after all that epic journey to end up here...
Fuck this. Just see this. Look at this.
Now that I've presented my opening arguments, let's all take a big step back and lay a giant turd on this show. Cause what can be more entertaining than crapping all over someone's work while you yourself have literally nothing to lose? Huh? Look, I can only talk from my experience, and my experience with this show is this. Watching it was one of the greatest tests of my will, right there with that time when I tried to listen to a Justin Bieber song. At the 15 minutes mark, I was already contemplating about cutting my veins or jumping out of a window. This was my mental condition at the end of each episode.
Why do you keep doing this to us? I don't know, Morty. Maybe I hate myself. Maybe I think I deserve to die. I don't know.
For those lucky ones who haven't seen the show, plot follows Jennifer Walters, a lawyer in her mid-30s who's Bruce Banner's cousin. After a car accident where Jennifer tries to pull unconscious Bruce out of burning car, she gets some of Bruce's blood mixed up with hers, which basically turns her into another green monster, who's like slightly less awesome than the original Hulk. Now I heard that in the comic books it's Bruce who saves Jennifer by experimenting with his blood and injecting it into her. This version of course makes more logical sense than an accidental blood drop, but we're living in 2022 and having a man save a woman is incredibly sexist.
Are you serious?
So at this point you might think that Jennifer will have to go through an exciting journey full of adventures. Will she learn to control her Hulk by controlling her anger, right?
Wrong.
Actually, Jennifer already can control her Hulk, and she was able to do that in a matter of hours. For the contrast, it took Bruce Banner over a decade to solve that problem.
Oh, what a loser!
But wait, there's a logical explanation to that.
Well, we're waiting.
You see, because Jennifer is a woman, she had to deal with more shit in life than Bruce did. That's why she can control her anger much better than he.
Well, here's the thing, Bruce. I'm great at controlling my anger. I do it all the time. When I'm catcalled in the street.
Oh no! Anyway.
When incompetent men explain my own area of expertise to me, I do it pretty much every day because if I don't, I will get called emotional or difficult or I might just literally get murdered.
Oh, poor baby.
I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it infinitely more than you.
Shut up, bitch!
Yeah, I mean, the guy saw his dad kill his mom when he was a kid. Then, after an unsuccessful experiment, he turned into a monster and was hunted by the US Army that wanted to use him as a weapon. He tried to kill himself, got his ass kicked by a purple alien, lost the girl he loved, twice, and also saw half of his friends literally turn into a dust. But being mansplained or catcalled is infinitely worse than that.
Oh, come on!
Okay, forget about the anger control stuff. At least she'll have some hero journey, you know? Save bunch of people, learn to be a force of good or something like that.
No.
The only time she saves people is when that crazy chick attacks the courtroom at the end of first episode. And even then she was reluctant to do anything cause she didn't want to ruin her suit. Speaking about the hero, Jennifer's character is probably the worst aspect in this show. And that's a hell of a thing to say considering how bad the show is. She-Hulk is insufferable, arrogant, selfish, and yet at the same time incredibly incompetent and stupid. even as a lawyer. Jen mistreats people who genuinely want to help and then gets easily manipulated by the mere prospect of getting laid. Her lack of self-awareness is beyond any comprehension. And for the record, I don't blame the actress for this. She clearly does her best. The only people who ruined the show are those empty-headed individuals who call themselves writers. Speaking of the villains, they say that any superhero story is as good as its villain, right? Well, guess who's the main villain of this story? Men. Literally all men. Apart from few exceptions, men in this show just suck. Especially those who dislike She-Hulk. Now look, MCU loves to introduce us to evil underground organizations. We've seen Hydra, Flag Smashers, the Ten Rings, but this one is probably the worst. Meet Intelligentsia.
Dumb name.
A group of undercover internet trolls who hate She-Hulk.
What?
Yep. Imagine being a 7-foot super powerful invincible giant and still having to deal with online trolls. Wait a minute. So we're watching a show, and in that show, the villains are basically the people who hate the show?
Wow.
That's just too much meta for me.
You watch videos of people on YouTube reacting to f***ing YouTube. I'll be the judge of when we get too meta.
Okay, so this Intelligentsia guys are basically a bunch of sexist dudes who think that someone more deserving and responsible should get Hulk's powers.
Here's where I'm at. Superpowers should go to the best person suited for the job.
Now, I don't really know whether they're sexist because they think that way or because of some other reasons, but I have to admit what they're saying is actually pretty based. I mean, She-Hulk only uses her powers to get laid or further her career as a lawyer, which is kind of irresponsible. Throughout the show, she practically doesn't do anything good or heroic. Jen didn't even want to be a superhero in the first place, so what's the big fucking deal? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, she also killed some guys.
She-Hulk smash.
You'd think having all these rich comic book source materials and all those resources, the writers could have come up with some creative story that can be interesting, captivating and fun to watch. Instead, they decided to go with a boring-ass courtroom wannabe comedy crap that mostly focuses on everyday mundane stuff like working and doing household chores.
So what happens on a regular Tuesday when you just have to do laundry? That's really kind of the slice of life that this show kind of explores. This is the show of legal paperwork, which we knew is what the MCU fans were screaming for.
No. No, no, no. No. Hell no. 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 I refuse. No. No.
Each episode can be summed up with a single sentence like She-Hulk tries online dating, or She-Hulk goes to a wedding, or She-Hulk has a therapy after she's been ghosted by a guy. And don't even get me started with the final episode. I swear if someone paid me and asked to come up with the worst ending possible, I would never think of a finale this stupid. First they create some kind of culmination where the heroes and villains face each other, and just when the ass whooping is about to begin, She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall and cancels it all so they won't spend money on special effects, I guess. Look, I don't know what's this girl's problem. Why does she always have to suck the joy out of everything like it's Daredevil's dick? I guess she doesn't like when other heroes get attention in her show. After all, this is her show, right? And she reminds us about it multiple times.
It's my show. Just remember whose show this actually is. I'm not happy with what's happening in my story.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Let me get this straight. So for 8 episodes they go after a dumb and predictable storyline, and then at the end they stop and call it dumb and predictable?
What kind of stupid finale is this?
Maybe you guys think that admitting your own stupidity is something incredible, but we, the normal people, simply call it self-awareness. Congratulations, Marvel, you just got owned by yourself. And no, I don't buy into the whole "this is a subtle criticism of Marvel's repetitive formula" narrative, because the only way they should call out other stories' flaws, which they shouldn't, is by at least creating a cohesive story, which they most certainly couldn't. And that's all I can say about this show. If you have low bullshit tolerance and worry about your mental health, I wouldn't recommend you to watch it. If you dare to watch and somehow liked it, then I'm genuinely happy for you. Thank you for listening to my annoying voice for this long. Have a good day. Bye bye.